Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to clarify the situation of Luis Díaz potentially moving to FC Barcelona, because one of the few things that we have been hearing over the past 4 to 8 hours is the fact that Liverpool have blocked a move for Luis Díaz, and I'm going to be explaining what this means and what it could mean from Barcelona, you know, in terms of like the other transfers, because there is some things that Barcelona want to do in this summer that is ultimately going to be very important, and is ultimately going to be depending on how much they do spend on the left wing position. I know that there's a lot of confusion, but once again, I'm going to be explaining it in this video. Now, if you guys are watching this like within the first like 1 to 2 hours, most likely you guys are also watching the France versus Spain match. I'm also going to be making a match review on that game after the match is over. You guys will be seeing it here on the YouTube channel. So if you guys do want to be alerted when that video does come up, I am going to be once again uploading it, and all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and you guys will be notified immediately from there. So let's talk about the Luis Díaz transfer situation. Barcelona's approach has been rejected, clearly, right? We have heard multiple reports. One of the most reliable sources, David Ornstein or something like that, that's his name, he has claimed that yes, Barcelona's approach has been rejected. Deco contacted Liverpool this week to open talks for Luis Díaz, but Liverpool's response was very clear and very quick, and they said, look, he's not for sale. I'm sorry. Like, I know that you guys wanted to approach us about Luis Díaz and maybe spend 58 to 75 million euros on the player, but he's not for sale. We're blocking the move. Arne Slot sees Luis Díaz as a crucial player for the 2025-2026 season and is planning his attack around him. And Diaz also recently spoke about this whole situation and made a public stance, and he stated that he's very happy at Liverpool, and he acknowledges that, you know, that he's contacting with other clubs, and he wants to make it known to the media, to us, and say that yeah, I'm in talks with other clubs. It does exist, but I'm not pushing for a move. So the fact that he's being very transparent is always good. He's basically hinting that he might be staying at Liverpool for the final 2 years of his contract, unless Liverpool do decide otherwise. But he's trying to say that, you know, it's normal. It's normal for me to be talking to like other clubs right now, but I do ultimately want to stay at Liverpool because Liverpool do want to have conversations with me and continuity with me. Now, here's the thing. The fact that Liverpool has rejected any sale for Luis Díaz, and especially to FC Barcelona, that is very normal, because Liverpool and Luis Díaz have not talked yet on what the plans are going to be. They have not communicated with one another, and the reason why Liverpool are blocking any sale right now with Luis Díaz is because Luis Díaz is currently representing his national team, which is Colombia. And there is no reason for Liverpool to say we're going to open talks with FC Barcelona. It's okay, let's talk about Luis Díaz while Luis Díaz is at Colombia. It doesn't make any sense. Luis Díaz needs to know about this, but they're not going to be talking to Luis Díaz about this because he's in the middle of a huge responsibility, which is to go up against Argentina. So that is the reason why they said he's not for sale. Don't even think about it. If you want to come to us later, then fine, but as of now, he's not for sale, and that is the reason why Liverpool took that firm stance. You better bet that after Luis Díaz is done with his international duty for this summer, he's going to be going back to Liverpool. They're going to be assessing. Liverpool will be asking, hey, you know, Barcelona approached us about 2 or 3 weeks ago. What do you say about this? Or do you want to continue with us, etc., etc.? And those conversations will be taking place, right? The reason why Liverpool especially don't want to sell now, and why they're being firm for now, because once again, Luis Díaz is in international duty, is because they're saying, you know, Diaz has had his best season yet, scoring 17 goals in 50 appearances. He has been a key player in Liverpool's Premier League title win by showing versatility, thriving on the left, also going centrally on the false line role. Liverpool already, you know, they're already planning to sell Darwin Núñez and possibly even Chesa. And as of now, they just don't want any more disruption. They're saying, okay, we're going to be talking about these two players and these two players only in terms of exits. As for Luis Díaz, once again, we have to just take our time on this. We have to make sure that he's back and fully communicating with us, and to see what he wants. I also do want to clarify his wages, because many have been stating, you know, Kevin, I believe that Luis Díaz is a perfect signing because his wages are very low. And yes, there has been rumors of his wages being only 55K a week, but I think that is very misleading, because it's likely performance based, right? Meaning that there's a lot of incentives attached to this 55K a week. Meaning, like, based off his output, like if he does better in terms of scoring goals, providing assists, key passes, appearances in certain competitions, winning trophies, it does lead towards a much higher wage. For Liverpool and its fan base, if they think that they can just like let go of Luis Díaz for, at 55k a week and bring in Nico Williams and expect the exact same type of like pay. It's just not gonna happen, bro. Like, one of the replacements that Liverpool are looking at is Nico Williams, and Nico Williams is asking for much more. I'm talking about like 420k a week. Like, that is 5 to 6 times more than Luis Díaz. And I mean, like, obviously, Luis Díaz gets paid more than 55k a week, but signing in Nico Williams is like a whole other different monster. So let's get that out the window. Luis Díaz does not get paid 55k a week flat. He gets paid more than that. But with Nico Williams, it's like he's asking for maybe twice as more compared to Luis Díaz. And this is what's going to lead me towards the next conversation, right? And the reason why I want to bring in Nico Williams in this conversation. Nico Williams is also considered as a backup plan for FC Barcelona and Liverpool. So let's just say that all of this is true. That Liverpool say, I want to continue with Luis Díaz and we want him here. And Luis Díaz is like, yes, I want to stay here for the next 2 or 3 years. I really do think that eventually Barcelona is going to end up focusing their plans on Nico Williams, because look, if Luis Díaz is out of the picture, if Leao is just too damn expensive, if Marcus Rashford continues at Manchester United, we're going to end up going back to Nico Williams. And Athletic Bilbao have this winger priced at 50 million euros in terms of like the release clause, maybe 58 million euros in terms of the release clause. He has been electrifying in La Liga, a standout performer in the Euro 2024. Xavi did admire him, and now Flick does admire him. And if Luis Díaz doesn't come, I do think that, once again, looking at how many left wingers are kind of like falling out of our hands, Nico Williams might be the ideal target. But the big problem, like what we talked about earlier, is his wages. Currently, he does earn 200k a week at Bilbao, and if he were to move, he's going to be demanding 425k a week, which is going to take him to like 12 to 13, maybe even 14 million euros a season for the move. And this would make him one of Barcelona's highest paid players, and that is by no question, like for sure, more than the majority of our players. And that is a huge red flag, given the club's wage structure, the financial fair play rules. Even clubs like Chelsea and Arsenal have cooled their interest because of this. That is because of the huge wages demands. And in terms of the risk assessment, while the release clause is manageable, like I believe that Barcelona could pay the 50 to 58 million euros, the total cost in terms of wages, taxes, agent fees is going to be unsustainable in my opinion. Barcelona's squad cost limit is just 204 million euros, and compare that to Real Madrid, there is a 727 million euros. Like, for me, like looking at how much these players are valued and looking at Barcelona's like restrictions, they're going to have to let go of a big time player to bring in Nico Williams. And like I've said before, if we want to bring in a brand new left winger, we cannot let go of one of our current attackers. That doesn't make any sense. We want to add Nico Williams on top of our current squad, not let go of certain players, one of our best team players, just for the sake of signing Nico Williams. Because if we have to sacrifice Rafinha, for example, to bring in Nico, that doesn't make any sense. You might as well just stay with Rafinha, somebody who has been working well with us, and especially in the past 12 months. Yeah, that's it. Like, there has to be a way. There has to be a way for Barcelona to find just a way to bring in Nico Williams without breaking the structure of our wage bill, and at the same time, not letting go of one of our most important players. Now, the reason why Barcelona is also so, like, I would just say, hell-bent on trying to find a good deal on the left wing position is because they really don't want to put all of their eggs in one basket, because if they do, then they won't be able to find a reinforcement to the left back position. They want Alex Grimaldo. And the reason why, he's very relevant to the left wing position is because Grimaldo is being seriously considered to strengthen the left flank position to give competition to Alejandro Balde. And we just never know. What if Alejandro Balde gets injured again during a very, very important time through the season? We need somebody very reliable. And Barcelona do want that. Deco does want that. But we would not be able to bring Grimaldo if Barcelona spends 60 to 70 to 80 million euros on a player like Luis Díaz, or if we overspend in terms of our wage bill on Nico Williams. And we won't be able to fit other players like Grimaldo in our wage bill anymore. So we have to be very careful. And Grimaldo, at that point would almost become impossible for us to afford. And, his transfer fee is 15 to 20 million euros. That's a bargain of a price. We want to be able to say that we can sign Grimaldo in about 4 to 5 weeks from today, after signing a left winger that does fit our wage bill and is manageable in terms of like the transfer fee. Barcelona will need to spread their budget carefully across the defense and the attack. And ultimately, right, that is going to be the conclusion. Barcelona want a high impact left winger, but they cannot overspend. Luis Díaz deal is dead for now. The Nico Williams situation might rise up in the coming hours or in the coming days due to his talent, right? But we have to be very careful in terms of how much we do spend on the wage bill. And ultimately, Grimaldo's fate is tied to the left wing position, right? That is just how it is. And Deco and Laporta have to do the most careful job and the most responsible job to make sure that Barcelona do not get hurt in the end. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.